Welcome back to GBGuns Armory, where we take a look back at stuff that has been out for a while, that's previously reviewed. Already have full reviews on the main channel. Here I'm looking to remind myself and you guys of some of the great stuff that's out there. Just because it's not the hotness right now on the main media, if you will, doesn't mean that they're not still good guns. In today's episode, take a look at the Lionheart Regulus. Now, as I understand it, these are no longer in production as what I'm showing. The company has made some changes. They have a new variant, I think. I don't know. I was supposed to have one in hand like a year or two ago. Never came. I saw Suits review one, but haven't seen anything else out there. The Lionheart is an evolution of a Daewoo pistol that was originally imported to the US as Lionheart LH9. With the Regulus, we had a lot of improvements, and you guys can go back and look at the tabletop videos I have on these over on the main channel to see all of that. But essentially what you're getting is an all-metal, railed, double-action, single-action pistol that has a unique, let's say, trigger feature. As you saw right there, these can work and they have manual safeties. You can have a single action. You can have a longer smooth double action. And then there's what they call double action plus, which would be once you've loaded the gun, you can, with your finger, push the hammer forward. You saw the trigger moved forward there, and there's a small green mark. I don't know if it's going to show up camera inside there. You can see down inside to know that it's in that mode versus in double action. And what this does is give you the double action length of pull with single action weight. And it's a little strange because you get a kind of stop, a little step right there. It comes back quickly, and then you've got precise one. So it's a really neat concept that I enjoyed. It's sort of Walther P99AS style, if you will, with having 3 trigger modes. The way I see it, some folks love the double action, right, and they want that longer, heavier first shot pull. Nothing wrong with that. Some folks want to go cocked and locked on single action and just go straight into a short, quick one. Or you could, with or without the safety, run it in this double action plus, which lets you still have the same ease of a good shot, first shot, like single action, but with a little bit longer pull and that pause that almost takes you to like a perfectly staged double action without the weight pull in it. Now these things were not inexpensive. They used a really high-grade Cerakote on them. Incredible high quality finish on the barrels. This is not a brand new gun. It's had hundreds of rounds through it, and that barrel looks like it's brand stinking new. They went through a lot of lengths to make sure everything about these things was absolutely premium. You had the Alpha, which is this full size with the hump in the back, and then they made the Beta with a straight back. This has a shorter slide, and when these were available, you could choose whatever color combinations you wanted, choose longer slide or shorter slide on top, and then the Alpha or Beta grip to them. Really interesting guns. They were around, I want to say, like $1,800 back when I reviewed these things, which was pre 2011 normalization, if you will. So we're talking, most people expected a handgun to be around $400 to $500, with some of the fancy ones being around $1,000. Of course, companies like Nighthawk existed, but you really didn't see $1,800 handguns very much. Now that pricing is unfortunately more common, as things like double stack 1911s have become more mainstream, and so people are, I think, more mentally accepting of that higher price range. But I don't think when these came out that price was as acceptable as they would have liked it to be. Now, since then, they have made one other iteration, and that is this guy here, which is somewhat simplified. You can see doesn't quite have the same high gloss. They took a few cost-saving ways out. And not cost-saving as in making the gun any cheaper, just cost-saving as in, well, let's try to not make everything the most premium possible. And this, drawing a blank on what it was called, but still used parts from the Alpha and Beta Reguli, if you will. But excellent gun, still same feature, still as enjoyable to shoot. Went with a fiber optic instead of a night sight as a factory basic. The coatings on the barrels still nice. They still a premium gun. It just, I want to say these were closer to $1,200 or maybe $1,400, so they were able to shave quite a bit out. And then these disappeared. Now they've got, I believe it's called the Vulcan, that I haven't seen yet, so I don't know if that's real or actually happening. Can't speak to it. What comes to mind with guns like these, now of course when you're charging a premium, you're getting into a niche because not everyone is ready to spend a lot of money on a handgun. When you go all metal and hammer fired, you're also into a bit of a niche, but I would say that's the connoisseur niche, the shooters who really have particular tastes about handguns. So having a premium gun that is also all metal, hammer fired, I get that. The multiple trigger mode, I think is awesome. Just like with the Walther P99, I wish that had been better understood by the general public and become more of a norm. It really does give you a lot of great options. But they just never really seemed to catch on. Now, there were holsters for these, and I did carry each of these just because, like, this little guy with that extended mag, I believe, was 19 rounds, which at the time to me was incredible capacity, and there was a certain sense of pride and happiness and confidence in ownership in carrying something like that. But I was also concerned about replacement because, as I'm sure many of you know, if you ever use a firearm in self-defense, chances are you're not getting the gun back, even if it's completely justified and everything's dropped. The way police evidence processes go, there are many a story of people not getting their gun back after using it in defense. And so I didn't want to carry an $1,800 gun and lose it. But still spectacular guns. Do a little trigger play, yeah. Very comfortable to shoot. I almost feel like the timing on them was a little wrong, because when these were, even this later version came out, all metal hammer fired was still seen as yesteryear. The polymer frame striker fired was in, but we weren't quite tired of polymer frame striker fired. You know, we're currently filming this in early 2024. We're seeing people start to get tired of the polymer striker fired and start to gravitate back towards metal and gravitate back towards hammer fired. And I think there are a couple reasons for that. Metal frame guns are heavier. That makes them more comfortable to shoot. The heavier the gun is, the less perceived recoil. It also sort of rests in the hand, sits in the hand better than a super lightweight gun. Lightweight is great for carry, not so great for range. Heavier is great for range, not so great for carry. Where the perfect balance is, it totally depends on you and your lifestyle and what you're after. My question to you guys is, do you think it's time for this type of gun to return for the premium hammer fired metal frame? Is it something that you're interested in? And is the idea of a higher end handgun strange to you? I ask that because it's not uncommon for us to see rifles cost a whole lot of money. And I think it's extra funny when those rifles are an AR-based platform where most of the parts are already proven, already designed, already manufactured by someone else. You're generally paying for the branding, some assembly, which we know you can do at home with ARs, and then maybe any unique parts that particular company tends to have, which not all of them do. Sometimes it's just marketing. Same thing with bolt-action rifles. Even fewer parts to manufacture, even simpler, even more proven design. But somehow it's not uncommon to see a bolt-action rifle for $1,800. That seems to be more acceptable in the market, if you will, than a handgun does. And I don't know why, especially when there are more parts, smaller parts, and some could argue more design that has to go into a handgun than into a bolt-action rifle. So what are your thoughts on those premium high-end stuff? Is it something you're interested in? Is it something you just can't afford? Is it something you don't think is worth it? There are no wrong answers here. I'm just curious what your personal thoughts are on it. On the channel, we've proven time and time again, we've taken sub $300 handguns and shot great groups with them and had a good time. We've also shot $3,000 handguns and had a great time. So, are they necessary? Maybe not. Are they enjoyable? Sure, when they're done right. That's GBGuns Armory. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.